What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and I'm pretty excited to show you Umbrel's replacement. So if you're unfamiliar with Umbrel, a lot of us have been using the Umbrel OS as well as, Bitcoin nodes, easy setup, and then the public pool for solo Bitcoin mining. Now this is the Zima 2 board, and I first seen this on the Retro Mike channel, link down in the description, and he has imported his, Umbrel nodes and everything and mining pools through Mining Core into Zima OS. And that's what I'm going to be setting up and showcasing for you guys today. So this was sent out to me from Zima here, and on the bottom here, this is actually an accessory case right here. So this is all the ZimaBoard 2 is right here, this part right here. And then this is an accessory cage for hard drives. Now you can see we have an older style type of RPM hard drive here, and they're slower than obviously than NVMe's and stuff. But when it comes to Bitcoin Cash and stuff, that is all you need because they are slow blockchains. Now, if you were to get stuff like Duro and stuff like that, Caspa, then you definitely need a faster NVMe. But when it comes to these slower blockchains, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and stuff like that, you can definitely get away with cheaper hardware that really helps with that decentralization. So Retro Mike did import his Umbrel, all his nodes and stuff and mining core and everything into Zima OS. So that's actually what we're going to be importing into here and installing. But here we can see there's a little fan to kind of help with keeping it cooling. Let's just look on this side here. And we got, our little power cable here. We got our Ethernet plug. And then there's also, if you want to hook a monitor or something to this, you can go like this. But once you have it hooked up, you can see everything right within your dashboard on your internet as soon as you plug it in. So as soon as you get this, you don't even need a monitor. It's basically plug and play, very, very easy. Just like how Umbrels and everything was. So let's jump into the dashboard and have a look at everything. Okay, so here we are inside of the Zima OS dashboard. We're logged into it through my IP here, and you can see everything's here. So here we can see we're using 31.4 gigabytes, a total out of 4.05 terabytes. So we got a lot of space because you need at least 2 gigabytes to run that Bitcoin node. I do have a few nodes already installed, like Bitcoin 2, Bitcoin, as well as Bitcoin Cash here. They're all synced up, ready to roll. I didn't implement the mining pool and everything because I wanted to show you that, because when it comes to the nodes, it's simple. Just click on the button and it'll download and start syncing all on its own. So I wanted to make sure these were ready so I can just engage my pool and start mining. So the first things you are going to do is we're going to run through this right quick. You can see your system resources, but if we go into settings here, we can see through the general, here's wallpapers, login screen, your time of day, search engines, all sorts of, stuff that you might want to do, all your basic information. Storage, you can see your extra storage that I have inputted here. They'll show up right here, and this is your normal extra input right here. And then we got our Zima OS. So this is the default that it comes with. It's only a 50 gigabyte drive here. That's why you do want the external storages for nodes and stuff, because you don't want to be loading this up with all the node data. Now it's okay to put the pool and stuff in here because it doesn't use much room, but when it comes to downloading the blockchains, obviously you want that extra storage so that you can sync everything up there. And then all of a sudden we got our apps and where everything is and stuff like that. So that is your general settings in a nutshell. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously we're going to go into the App Store, and by default we just type in like BTC or something. We do have a Bitcoin node here, but this is from Retro Mike. This is not here by default, so you're going to have to add his store. So in order to do that, come into the right hand side here, go to apps, and then just add a repository. And we're going to put in Retro Mike's address here that goes to his GitHub and his Zima OS nodes and everything he has set up. All right, so YouTube doesn't allow you to paste the whole thing in, so you're going to have to do some manually typing, because if I put it in the description, it's not going to work. If I come into Retro Mike's video here, scroll down, you can see it's right here, and it just ends. And if you right click and try to copy it, it comes up with some big YouTube link, and it just doesn't work. So first I'm going to show you what it is, but I also have it on the screen here so you can just copy it. But it is HTTPS, and obviously your semicolon / github.com / then we got the Retro Mike / retro Mike Zima app store archive/refs/heads/main.zip. So that's where you're going to have to put into here and then just hit the add button. Once you get that, you should see the RetroMic repository show up right here. And here we are. This is everything that RetroMic has imported into here. So you're going to want to download a couple things here. Obviously, first, get started with the nodes you want to run. So here's your Bitcoin node, your Bitcoin Cash node. I don't think BC2 is going to work. He was discontinuing that because they changed the wallet structure and stuff like that on it. So I don't know where he is on that, but I do see it still here as of recording. Dozzle, you're going to want this because this kind of shows you everything that's going on, that you download everything. So put everything in. So I have Bitcoin in, I have Bitcoin Cash in, and I have Bitcoin 2 in, and I have Dozzle in. So let these things sync up, and then you can continue on to the next step. I believe you can even do it and set it all up without them fully in sync, but let's just do that anyway. Mine are fully in sync, just so you know. So next up, we're going to start installing our mining pool and everything. All right, so there is actually one thing I want to point out just to make it nice and clear on how to run your nodes on the other drives, because if you don't install it right, it's not going to work. So if we come into the App Store here, we're going down to the RetroMic store, and here we are. So it took a lot of, I guess, playing around because RetroMic didn't really show it correctly, or at least not easily enough for most people to understand on his video here. So I'm going to hopefully get that lined up better for you guys. So if we click on it, now if you go to straight install, it's going to go to your default drive. And obviously we don't want that. It's only a 50 gigabyte drive and it's going to fill up fast. You're not even going to be able to run like 5% of a Bitcoin node if you do that. So you're going to want to click on it and you're going to click the arrow here and go to custom install. So on his video, he just clicked here and he chose his other drive. And that's the easy way to do it. But what you also got to do is make sure you do copy the secondary folder here. So I'm just going to right click and copy that. Now we're going to pick our other drive. So we're going to go to HD storage here. Now we're going to create that folder, paste that in. So this is the folder we're making. And now we can see we have the BTCS here, which is the one we made. So we're going to select that folder right there. And that's where this is going to install. Now over here, we want to put this exact situation in there. So we're going to take this same thing so it knows where to go. And it's going to know this is where the node is. So you got to copy this into here as well, or it's going to be messed up. So if you would have just went into here and selected that and did that and left, it would not install right. It won't run. It'll run into issues and errors. So make sure you are directing this slot here to that as well. So now just hit the install button. Now you can just hit continue in background. You can see it going here. We're going to wait for this to install and then we'll fire it up and kind of show you what it looks like. All right, so we can see it is new and installed. We can see the graph here of the downloading speed and everything. So we're going to click on this and it's going to bring up Dozzle. So if we clicked on this, we can see Dozzle is running and this is showing us all our nodes. So if we go into actually BTCS here, we can choose it from the menu here. Over here, this is pretty much telling you all your stats and everything. So here you can see it's synchronizing block headers and it's beginning to sync, and it'll tell you how far along. Here's your progress, 0.000111 and 115. This is your percentage that it's syncing right here. And then you can go to your other ones. Here's BC2, it's telling you peers connected. So pretty much what Dozzle is it just gives you all the statistics that's going on with your pool, with your nodes and all that. It's just all your stats. And no matter where you click, it'll go straight to Dozzle and you can just choose anything. And it's all your nodes all in one spot. You can see exactly what's going on. So right now we got BC2, BCH, BTC, and BTCS. So I'm actually going to uninstall this because I don't plan on using this, at least right now. So I'm just going to install it, but I did want to show you guys how to install these nodes on a separate drive, because if you don't do it correctly, it's not going to work, and then you'll be smashing your head into the desk or the wall, and hopefully this just helps you out and saves you the issue of doing all the troubleshooting. All right, so you got your nodes downloading and trying to sync up here, or they're already ready to go and they're fully in sync. You need to set up your pool. So we're not using public pool like we did with Umbrel here. We're actually using mining core, and you can set multiple pools up within the one instance there. So we're going to go into our app store again. RetroMic. Remember, RetroMic made this extremely easy for everybody. So we're going to come into here. And now we're going to start with Postgres. So we're going to install this. So we're just going to hit the install button, make it nice and easy. So these things, like I said, they can go into your default drive because they're not very big, and it makes things nice and easy. So we're going to let that continue into the background here. You can always switch it later by kind of doing what I showed you earlier about switching, making the what's it called, there's, making your folders and your directories. Now you can just simply copy it. Like example, let me just go into here. If we go into your settings, there you go. You can move everything if you wanted to through the same things later on if you choose to. But I find it nice and easy if you put your nodes on your big drives and then just put your basic pool stuff into your default drive. It works nice and easy. So as this is installing, I'm going to go back into the App Store, and then we're going to download the Mining Core UI. So it looks like it finished. So we're going to do that. Now I'm going to go back into here because it canceled it. So let's just go RetroMic, and now we're going to go Mining Core Web UI. So here you can see Legacy. Legacy, I believe you need to do Monero. I haven't set up Monero yet, but if you want to see that video, I'll definitely try to set that up for you. But I do believe Monero has to run on the Legacy Mining Core and Legacy Web UI. So here we're going to download the Mining Core Web UI now. We're going to install that. All right, so we got the Mining Core Web UI installed. So we're going to come in here and go to settings. We're going to have to change some variables from the default. So you can do this while you're downloading it. You know, when I went to the custom thing and tell you where to change your drives and everything, you can set that there as well. But I just like to download it and then do it. So here you can see the IP addresses for everything. We need these IPs here to match wherever your Zima is on your network. So for example, for me, it's 192.168.1.64. I got to change all these 100s to 64. That way it just reads everything where I am. Now, if you're running, like say, your nodes on a different PC and your mining core on a different one that's not on the same ones, then you would be adjusting all this stuff based on the IP that you have everything. So you do have the availability to set that all up, run different nodes on different PCs and so on, and just have, say a separate PC only for your mining pool. And then you can just point this at everything where your nodes and stuff are. But I'm running everything on one, so it's nice and simple. So put everything as the same IP, and then down here for your Stratum host, again, 64. So I think those are the only things we got here. Oh, right here, we need this 64. All right, so there's your mining core host for an example. So we got 64, 64, 64, 64. That is everything with the IPs. So now I'm going to hit the save button, and everything is set up for where I have this set up on my network running within the same ecosystem here. So now I'm actually going to click on this like so, and now you can see mining pool. So nothing's quite set up yet. All right, so now we're going to actually set up our mining pool. So it's very easy. We're going to go to pool configuration here. I already have some clicks from when I uninstalled it. So what I want to do, I'm going to start with setup database schema. So I'm going to click that. It says set up. Now you configure mining pools and install the Mining Core app. I'm just going to go to refresh master coin list, and now we can see it is all updated. Now we're going to select the pools that we want to run and the nodes we're downloading. So, I got Bitcoin. I'm going to set that in. We got Bitcoin Cash. We also have Bitcoin 2 BC2. So those are the pools that I have running there. We're going to scroll down, generate pool config. There we go. It is updated. Please restart the Mining Core app. So we're going to hit OK. Now we're just going to come in back into here, and we're going to install Mining Core, and we should be done. So let's just come into RetroMic here. We're going to find Mining Core now. Make sure it's the right one, not Legacy. So here's Mining Core. Install that to the default drive. Let this thing download, and then we can just open it right up. All right, so it is downloaded. So we don't actually have to open Mining Core. We run everything through the Mining Core Web UI. But I just want to go into Dozzle here, make sure everything is running. So here we can see Mining Core, broadcasting job. It's doing all its stuff for everything that we set up. We can see BC2, BCH, BTC, payout manager. Everything is running in Mining Core, and everything we can see everything in here. So Dozzle makes things nice and easy. So now we can go right back into our Mining Core web UI here, go to mining pools on the left. And now we can see those 3 pools we set up are right here. So let's just take a look at Bitcoin. Open that up. We got our pool stats. We got our dashboard, miners. Obviously, we don't have anything connected, blocks. So if we want to get started here, let's just click on this and we can see our stratums to connect to. Now, it looks like all our difficulties are the same. We're solo mining. You know, difficulty doesn't really matter. All that matters is we want to get the block with the maximum difficulty and get the block. So now we're just going to point on ASIC miner, you know, a Bitaxe or whatever you got to this stratum right here. And then we should begin solo mining Bitcoin. I do want to point out here that there is a pool fee for utilizing Retro Mike. If you find a block, he does have a 0.05% pool fee. He makes this thing nice and easy. So obviously if you want to support him, you know, use it and let them get that fee. I do believe you can remove that fee if you're good at coding and stuff, way back in deep, wherever the coding all is in that. I believe it's possible he mentioned that, but you know, there's a pool fee. I'm just going to leave it as is. You know what? That'll be awesome. Retro Mike deserves it. If I hit a Bitcoin block, he deserves 0.05%, you know, a nice boost to him. And you know, what small loss at your end, you're still getting 99.95% of 3.12 Bitcoin. Anyway, so that's pretty much in a nutshell how to set this up. I'm going to point a miner to this just so you can see it's actually working. All right, so I fired up the Bitaxe Turbo, as we can see here, and we're going to come in. I went into my dashboard and we can see we are getting shares. Everything is working. Bitaxe Turbo 2.6 terahash. Coming to pool stats, there isn't much data yet. It has to run for a little while. Coming to the miners, we can see this is that miner with our address right here. 0 blocks found yet. This is where if you do find a block, you'll see your current effort and how long it took and all that good stuff to reward, confirmation, luck, and all that good stuff. So, and your payments when you get paid here. So looking pretty good. That is how you get up and running, mining to your own node when it comes to Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and all those other supported coins that Retro Mike put in for the ZimaBoard 2. So obviously, if you're looking for one of these, link will be down in the description. All right, so another major thing I want to point out here is we got 3 nodes running and a mining pool. And this thing is only using anywhere between 9 to about 12 watts. It kind of jumps all over the place, but it hardly uses any power at all. All right, guys, so there we have it. What do you guys think about the ZimaBoard 2 and solo mining cryptocurrencies with it? And all thanks to Retro Mike for making this process super easy. So here we go. This is ZimaBoard 2 in a nutshell versus, I guess, Umbrel. As most of you guys are aware, I did a setup video and everything for that. And so far, I've had this for a while now, and I am personally liking the ZimaBoard 2, or at least the Zima OS, better than the Umbrel OS. For, you know, you got a lot more, I guess, flexibility in things you can actually do. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on the whole situation. Link in the description. Hit that subscribe button, bell notification. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.